Evening. It is May 21st, 2024 at 6 p.m. I'd like to call the Selectmen's meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Joe Shank.
Terry Moss present.
Joe Shank present.
Chaz Sexton Duranian present. 1.2, if you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank all those in service, both past and present, and our first responders. Special shout out to the Townsend Police. There was a post on the town police website in regards to finding a gentleman in the woods with dementia, with assistance from several agencies across the state. We did locate the gentleman and get him to the hospital and get him the proper help that he needed. So shout out to everybody on the police force that did a great job with that. That's why we have him in town. 1.3, the meeting is being recorded and it will be uploaded to YouTube. 1.4, Chairman's additions and deletions. I do not have any. Teresa, do you have any?
No, I do not have any.
Joe?
Nope.
Eric? No? 1.5, review and approve the meeting minutes for 3/9/24. Did we have those in there? We didn't have those in there? No. So let's pretend that's not on there. 2.1, nope, we're going to do that afterwards. So I'm going to jump right to section 3 with appointments of officials and personnel. We have several. Eric, you and I had a conversation in regards to this in the past, but if we are doing rehires, they don't necessarily need to do a query or a drug test unless there's anything else, or how are we doing that?
Yeah, so the way we have kind of worked it out is that as long as their gap is not more than a year, if it's more than a year, they would have to re-go a query. But if somebody works all summer and then comes back and works the following summer, they wouldn't have to do it.
Okay. All right.
Because their gap is for less than a year.
I don't want to cause any unnecessarily financial burden on the families.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for kids who are coming to do summer rec program and they work for 8 months out of one summer and then have to come back the next summer and have to do queries every summer. That doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. So as long as their gap is less than a year, they should be fine.
And I just wanted to let the director know that I did look into that for you. Yep. Okay, so we are going to start off with 3.1. I'll entertain a motion to amend the appointment for Robert Garside as part-time building commissioner with effective start date of 5/6/24 with a term to expire 6/30/2024.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any questions on that? This is just a clarification in regards to the dates, correct?
Yeah, this is the clerk's office came back and let us know that the building commissioner is one of the officers that gets reappointed every year. And so, like the police officers, like the firefighters, there's going to be a bulk reappointment that comes in June, and the building commissioner will be a part of it.
Okay. So, all those in favor?
Terry Moss, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.2. I'd like to entertain a motion to appoint Jack Murphy, Shannon Kelly, Asher Shine as seasonal summer recreation counselors to the Townsend Recreation Department for the Summer Rec 2024 program with effective start date of 6/1/2024.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Terry Moss, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chaz Sexton Duranian, yes. 3.3, I'd like to entertain a motion to reappoint Olivia Rowley, Ryan Arnold, Liam Bindo, Greta Helfer, Bradley Sheldon, Devlin Peterson, Heidi Thalheimer, David Rahula, Ava Ledoux, Alana Rizzuti as seasonal summer recreation and counselors to the Townsend Recreation Department for the Summer Rec 2024 program with effective start date of 6/1/2024.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes.
Revised agenda at the for Alana Mitsui, Brady Sheldon, and Greta Alter, respective date on 6/14/2024.
6/14/24. I'm looking at a revised agenda.
See what is 6/1? 6/1.
Irrelevant items. Item
One's our March.
6/1.
Okay, so do we need to, Teresa, I'll ask to amend the motion for Alana Rizzuti, Bradley Sheldon, Greta Heffler, with effective start date of 6/14/2024.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the amended motion?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. Are the rest the same? 3.4, motion to reappoint Wyatt Gallant, Megan Donovan as seasonal lead counselors to the Town Recreation Department for the Summer Rec 2024 program. Wyatt Gallant with effective start date of 6/1/2024. Megan Donovan with effective start date of 6/14/2024.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. I'll entertain a motion to reappoint Kimberly Kasparian, Evan Shine as seasonal junior operations assistants supervisory position to the Townsend Recreation Department for the Summer Rec 2024 program. Kimberly Kasparian with effective start date of 6/1/2024 and Evan Shine with effective start date of 6/14/2024.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. And finally, I'll entertain a motion to appoint Jared Marico as truck driver laborer position at the Highway Department with effective start date of 5/20/2024.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. Before we go, I just wanted to say that the director did submit to the board a disclosure by a non-elected municipal employee of financial interest and determination by appointing authority. This is basically because there is an employee that is a relative and that the determination by the appointing authority is as appointing official as required by general law, chapter 268A, subsection 19. I have reviewed the particular matter and the financial interests identified above by a municipal employee. I have determined that the financial interest is not so substantial as to be deemed likely to affect the integrity of the services which the municipality may expect from the employee. Is there any questions in regards to that?
No, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said no. There's no question.
Okay.
No.
And you're okay with that?
I'm good.
Okay.
Chaz,
Yeah.
I think it probably just makes sense to make a motion and have the board vote on that.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. All right. So that's starting the I's and crossing the T's. So we have, so you are all set with the Corey and all of that kind of stuff. You guys, thank you very much for helping us out. It's a very, very important program that you guys do for the town, especially in the summertime. And I know that we have had some challenges over the last 3 years, but we seem to be running in an open field right now.
That's right.
So, okay,
Let's do it.
let's keep it going. But again, it's been a pleasure working with you guys, and if you need anything from
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
That's
Thank
your
you
copy,
for,
but-
thank you.
Everything else is right.
okay, and you got your copy?
Yeah, I got my copy back. I don't know how yours missed that, but it's okay. It's all, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So we got about quarter after
At 6:05, the appointment.
6:30. Well, you might want to do that again. Okay. So were we in agreement with that? Because I don't know how I got my dates wrong.
So this one, there was one that
6:05?
just came out. I printed just before I left my office.
6:05.
Was it?
6:05.
All right.
Hey, you want this still?
Revised.
Yeah, this is like the fourth rendition of what we had to do.
Okay, yeah, so it's 6:05. I'm sorry.
So we'll go to the appointment with facility superintendent in regards to office space. Rob, you want to come up and join us? You don't have to if you don't want to. The reason why we're here is it has come to the attention of the board that the town garage is being used as an office break room space, as well as garaging several town vehicles. This board had instructed the town administrator to ask the facilities department to vacate the town garage area as office space and move into a suitable office space in the highway department. This space in the highway department has been properly equipped with all of the necessary town assets to operate the facility department and is in close proximity to the shared administrator for both departments. It then was further discovered and reported to the board that the IT connections are still active in this garage, and when visually inspected, the board found that this space continues to be used to this date as an office or break room space. This building is a town garage which houses vans, trucks, and small engine equipment and is not equipped for office space. There is no heat, there is no ventilation or bathroom facilities in this building. Because there was no ventilation from exhaust fumes generated by the startup and drive out of town vehicles, it is not a suitable environment for a workspace environment. Because of these and other possible safety hazards, we have investigated this matter with our advisors and concluded the following. At the direction of our Labor Council, it was determined that we are now directing you to vacate the town garage as your office because of the above outlined hazards and bring all town office assets to the space that was created for the facilities department in the highway garage. We expect that any and all office equipment will be removed by Wednesday, March 22nd by end of day. It will be, I will be requesting Guardian to eliminate all IT connections to that garage at this time as well. Going forward, this area should not be used as an office or a break room because of the safety hazards listed above. Do you have any questions in regards to that?
No.
Okay. And if you do have any questions or concerns, you can bring them to the town administrator.
Yep.
Okay? And that's all we needed. That's it. Okay? Thank you. 4.2. 4.1. Discuss grant opportunity for fiscal year 25. This is Destination Development Capital Grant. Did you guys get a chance to take a look at that? Teresa, have you looked at that at all?
Yes, I have.
Okay, because that kind of fit into a little bit of what I saw on your goals for next year.
Yeah, it was actually kind of what enticed me to set those goals.
Okay. The application was, the information was forwarded to me, and I thought in lieu of all of the things that we've been doing in the last couple of years to get some of our buildings in order, I think this would actually fall right in line. I know that with our grant writer, has investigated a lot of the available grants. She thinks this would be something that we would be able to be interested in. The reason why I wanted to talk about it is if either one of you two would be interested in helping me out with researching this with Erin and seeing if there's anything that we can do to to further the stuff for the town.
Yeah, I'll be happy to help.
Yeah. Teresa, would you want to work with her as well?
Sure.
So the way the grant is set up, the process opened on April 22nd, and there's a deadline on May 31st, and I know that's relatively soon, but I think opening up a discussion and finding out what we could possibly do, we can set ourselves up for next year for this particular grant, because it's all with tourism and it's all of the things that we have been looking for to try to increase the, I think by that time that the church will be done, the Old Harbor Fire Station will be done.
Grist Mill, Cooperage.
Yep, Cooperage, the grist mill, all of that. The historic area would be revamped. And I think they'll be able to do the marketing, look at targets that we could go to, like, Groton Music Center, and put out listings there so that when individuals are coming out for that, they may stay a day somewhere locally and then be able to check out the town stuff. So I would love it if we could get involved with a grant like that. This also, I think, will be important moving forward, because we don't have the town funds to be able to do tourism or marketing or whatever. We're going to have to grab all the available funding we can for these grants.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
I had a question on that because I just kind of browsed it and I'm not sure how deep it went into. But is there a possibility that, as well as the historic buildings and other buildings in the town, that we could look at that grant to possibly make improvements to the portability of the Squanticook River?
Yes. According to my conversations with the grant writer, there are several different opportunities that we could look into that leads up to this particular one. There are federal and there are state grants that I think we should be investigating and looking into. I'd like to be able to see if we can get the Hart Library, start working on stuff for the Hart Library to get that up and running again. We had sent out an RFP and we didn't get any bids for that. So I think we should be looking with town administrator to work to see, how we can get that going again too. There is a committee that I know Eric was working on and I jumped in. It is the Small Town Collaborative, which is something that Representative Margaret Scarsdale she had formulated this committee, which is a lot of the local businesses and administration of here. So Eric was on it, but I'm on it, and it's really to see what we can do to bolster the visitors and the tourism within this particular area. And through that, Margaret has come up with several different opportunities that we could look into. I think in the past, there's been ideas that have been hashed around at the selectmen table, but there's been no research or implementation on some of these things. And I think the more that we get our name out there, the better chances we are of getting some of these grants and really some of the buildings and some of the programming that are here. And that leads me to the next one, Teresa. So if I may go on to the next one.
Chaz, do you mind if I just say something real quick?
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention, kind of in open session, how excellent a job I think Erin is already doing in the short time she's been in this position. I know that everyone in the town is very focused on finances and how the town is spending our money. But I do want to say that in the short time that she's been here, Erin has already demonstrated an ability to apply for and receive grants, some of which the town has tried to apply for in the past and failed. So she's working on the Mass Trails grant. She's working on the ADA grant that we have. She's working on the Community One Stop grant. And so I just wanted to kind of give her a shout out. She and Jess over in the Land Use Department have been working really hard and really tirelessly on these grants that are bringing in, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars into the town for, you know, and it's costing us a fraction of that in their salary and wages. So it really is an investment that the town is making in that position that's really paying off.
Yeah. And again, I have later on in the meeting, I have I'll be touching upon that, Eric, with some accurate figures. So as usual, you and I are on the same page. The next one that I wanted to talk about, this is an opportunity for Townsend to be a host town for the Mass Humanities Smithsonian tour. In one of my state meetings that I went to last month, the Mass Humanities has a program. It's called Museum on Main Street. And I added that packet in here for you guys to take a peek at. Teresa, did you get a chance to look at this one as well?
That one I just briefed through, so I saw it, but I did not get to read through it and completely. Okay.
So what this is, with the state in conjunction with the Smithsonian Institute, they have tours where this is kind of along the same lines as the Wall That Heals. They look for volunteer locations where they come in and they set up the exhibit, and the exhibit is within the town for 6 weeks, I think it is. And then it moves on to the next location. The host site receives a grant of $10,000, and that's to host the exhibit and create programming rooted in the community. And we have to, we the town have to provide $10,000 in kind. So what our in kind would be is volunteers to be able to staff it. We would have sponsors to be able to, you know, provide any type of financial assistance if we need that. But again, it's basically like how we did with the Wall That Heals. We had a lot of organizations within town that helped support it. We had a great amount of volunteers that helped us out with it. The deadline came up rather quickly with this since I saw that. So I had asked Aaron, our grant writer, to put in a letter of interest. And I did that without checking with the board. And the reason why I did that is because the deadline for that letter of interest was on May 10th. So we got the letter in. It was a day late or 2 days late, and we said that we understand that it was late, but we wanted to let you know that we were interested. So I don't know how this is going to happen. We haven't made any commitment yet, but I did want to bring it to your attention. You guys, the exhibit is called, that is for this year, it's called Voices and Votes, Democracy in America. And the thing that I really liked about this was that they work with the area schools. So they bring the schools in and they do lectures and seminars for the school. They also help you market to get in to work with like the veterans. They also work with Council on Aging. So any of the other areas in town, they would help you set up different special seminars that will focus on the same topic, and then they'll be able to go through the exhibit. And it's all basically free to anybody who would be interested in doing that. So I guess basically what your thoughts are on that, and you know, if you're upset that I went ahead and did the letter, I hope not, but no, I did that good. Just in case. You know,
yeah, we're fine. Just wait, see what they get for a response, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Yeah. So my thought, just off the cuff, and you know, if when the dates are on this would be hopefully after. I was thinking if we could work with the Historic Society and maybe use it if we could see what we could work with them to have it at the old Harbor Church when it opens up. That could be, I mean, because it's a Smithsonian museum type, top notch with the exhibits, and you know, they have, some of them are.
This is April, starting of April next year, right?
Yeah, these are just some of the tour
Tour
dates.
dates, yeah.
Whenever we fall into it. There's 6 host communities that they look at, so we would be one of the 6 if we were chosen. And it looks like not that this hasn't done up in our area for a long time. And if not, we always have Memorial Hall, you know, so it would we have plenty of space in Memorial Hall to be able to do that, and that would be a wonderful place for it as well.
Yeah.
So
Thank you for moving forward with that.
all right, 4.3, review and discuss the set board liaison assignments. Again, this year, I really kind of did a lot of thinking in regards to this. I know that I had received an email in regards to, you know, what I think here in regards to how we've done it for the past 2 years. I will say this, I did some research in regards to the liaison assignments, and we only started doing the liaison breakout according to the policy. It's only been 6 years since we've been doing it, so there's no real established protocol per se. I know that I have been working very closely with the boards that I've been working with. I know that each one of you have been working. I think the continuity, there are projects that we all are working on with the assignments that we are working with. You know, I have, you know, I know that I will say this. I think that this board and the previous board has worked very hard to really be visible with the groups that we work with. I had sent out a memo asking for some feedback on what they thought for liaisons, and I got a lot of positive feedback in regards to how the you know, some groups feel that they feel supported, and other groups, you know, they said that they didn't know who their liaison was, but we all sent out letters and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to open up the floor for comments.
So as I think I made it clear, you know, I was my final year here as a selectman after being here in two previous years working with the same liaison for the same set of groups. I really do not feel like I'm getting what I had out when I ran for selectman, which was that I would get to work with the different organizations within the town. I had different vision, and I would really have appreciated it if I would get to work with different groups within the town instead of with the same group for 3 years straight.
Joe, anything for you?
Well, I would just say that, you know, I think each liaison assignment should be based on some sort of qualifications or continuity of what's going on. And I think the way the boards are broke up, I think you've done a fine job by, you know, keeping them that way. I think we're in the middle of a real crunch of a lot of things, and as public safety, there's a lot of big things I'm working on with fire, police, EMS, everything. And, you know, to start bringing somebody else in, I don't think that's the right thing to do. I think keep it the way it is. And just for the record, this is my second time I've been on, and I never was under the assumption that we rotated. It's up to the chair of the board to appoint the assignments where they got to go.
Yeah, and to that, I just want to respond, and I guess that's probably part of the reason I have issue with it. I think after serving the town for over 15 years and various committees, school committees, etc., and then on top of that, serving my country for over 20 years, I I certainly feel I've shown my qualifications to work with a semi-military organization, such, and back to the fact that I was a EMS myself, shown that I have the qualifications to be advanced instead of staying in the same position year after year. So,
Well, and I respect that, and in part of you know the email that I did get, this has nothing to do with disrespect, and it has nothing to do with anything other than, you know, I personally feel that I want to work with the same group that I've been working with for the past 3 years. You know, the way these were split up, they were split up because of the expertise, and I mean no disrespect to anybody, and I'm not doing it because of any other reason than we have. You know, I just think this is the best way to do it. You know, and I hear you, and I understand it, but you know, I've really gone out of my way to respect both of you in all of our ways of moving forward. I don't think my intent is to be malicious or nefarious in any way.
yeah, I think there's a long leap, Chaz, between disrespect and malicious disrespect. And I'm sorry if I implied that I feel you're being malicious. I don't feel that at all. But I do feel that not giving, telling you that I have twice now, last year I told you, and this year I told you, that I really have a desire because of my military background and working with semi-military organizations for over 20 years, my background as a medical professional, my desire to work with fire and EMS, and not being appointed to fire and police, I think is, as I said, it is not malice, but I think it is showing disrespect for my service that I have done.
Well, and it's not meant to be that way.
I have to, sorry, Mr. Chair. No disrespect here whatsoever, but I've got also 15 years as a lieutenant at the Townsend Fire Department, retired. I've been working with the police department and fire departments for the past 50 years in towing and everything else. So as far as qualifications, yeah, you have qualifications, but so don't I. Building department, I build homes, so construction. So I get it, I understand where you're going. The chair is appointed this way, and I feel he's done the right thing.
I don't see it as being a disrespect, Teresa, and I'm sorry you feel that way. But
Okay.
my intent was not to disrespect you at all. I think I've been more than gracious in many different facets. There's been several situations where I've not really have said anything in regards to that, and based upon just that alone, without getting into any details, I just think that it is, it is what it is, and I want to move forward if we can move forward.
Certainly.
Okay. 4.5.
Oh, it's 4.4.
No, 4.4. Selectmen's goals. I really want to let you guys know that we all did very, very well. I looked at what our goals were last year, and what our plan goals are this year, and this is in lieu of what I was talking to Eric about earlier. There were, let's start with you, Teresa. Yours were determine long-term needs of all town-owned building and identify operations to move forward. That's in process right now. Seek federal and state grants for town projects whenever possible. You have been working with capital planning. Your understanding of long-term and capital needs for the town, being the chair of you were the chair, right, Teresa, of the capital planning. So that is something that has been achieved and continues to be worked on. You had review and update previous attempts to understand opportunities for commercial growth. I think that's an area that we are slowly moving into. You also have continued to monitor the use of ARPA funds to ensure that they're being used for the greatest benefit to Townsend. I think that we are doing a good job with that. I'd like to be able to have maybe discuss the first meeting of every month to discuss, have a spreadsheet for ARPA funds, and then we can discuss where we're at, especially financially. Excuse me, and then we can see what we need to put some, if we need to reallocate, if we need to look into a certain area or whatever, we can move forward with that. You have continued to proceed with energy aggregation, which we are moving forward. Our energy aggregation has been the municipal side of it, not the townwide, but we are seeing benefits from the cost of the energy savings that we are doing greatly. I mean, this is, to me, it was amazing to see the figures. And we'll see it more when we look at, when we get the next BBA, you'll see the energy costs have you know, it's just been a lot more cost effective for the town. Support the work of the Affordable Housing Trust and the Townsend Housing Authority. That I think continues to need some attention. The subsidized housing inventory needs to be looked at as well. Actually, on both of those boards, because I am on there, we do need to focus more on that for the state. And that's something that I think is important, but it has moved forward. You've also had increased the value of town services through reorganization, the regionalization, which is something that we need to be moving forward to for this year. That's very, very important, Teresa, and you pointed that out, which I thought was, when I first saw this last year, I was like, yeah, but how are we going to do that? But I'm seeing more and more that we are getting more towards that. And it's more than the couple of things that you put on here. A couple of positions you put in, I think there's more positions that we need to look at going forward. And I also like having a public meeting and based on results, publish a long-term plan for repair and replacement of the town byways. I think that's equally as important. I would like to be able to see us work, and it was on all of our lists, the how we're going to do the paving management plan, how we're going to get that up and running, and working with more of the federal and state granting for highways, because we really need to get some attention to our roads. Part of that is getting grants for engineering because we can't afford the engineering, and then getting it on DOT, and then following up with DOT, and then finding funding for the paving and all of that kind of stuff. So the more we can find grants. So that was yours for last year, which I think on that we did pretty well. Joe, yours and mine were kind of sort of the same. We had, you had as number one, improving IT. We have we're in the process of moving TCAM downstairs, and that will be solely running all of TCAM out of meeting room 1 to allow the office up here to be able to operate the way they need to. We've made the enhancements within this room and also in meeting room 2, improving the Wi-Fi and TCAM connections in Great Hall, which is complete now, and a new phone system. Historic preservation was another one. So we just talked about the Hart Library. That I hope you carried that over until to next year. Gazebo restoration, that's complete. Old Center Fire Station and Old Harbor Fire Station, we just agreed to have that with a 50-year lease, and we're actually going to be getting some money out of that we did, more so than we did before. In the historic bid renovation, so the Harbor Church, the Grist Mill, the Cooperage, the Historic Society's been working on that, but that has moved forward. There was, both on yours and on mine, a public works consolidation plan. That's something that I also put on mine. That's something that I'd really like to look into with what we're going through right now financially in town. I think we need to really look at how we're splitting up our resources within the town with all of our departments, and see if we can come up with a way to to be a little more frugal with that. You also have solid waste services and recycling, which we'll be talking about later on. Communication with the school board is something that we're still working on, and I also put that on for next year. The budget process, streamlining operations, updating systems from a negative balance process, complete and finalize all outstanding grants, funding requests, and projects. So again, yours was equally as productive as Teresa's, so I think we've done really well. And I'm not going to go through all of mine because I'm going to put dollars to donuts on the next section because I wanted to jump more on what Eric had talked about earlier in regards to not only our grant writer, but other departments that have been very active in grants. So bids and installing wiring for IT completed. Set up select board chambers with media enhancements are completed. Improve Wi-Fi and TCAM connections in Great Hall, that's completed. Complete new phone system, done. We have in process prioritizing townwide software website and enhancements. Our websites are being put together right now, and that should be live shortly. I'm looking within the next month for the new and improved website. And continue to plan for townwide fiber connections to municipal buildings. That's actually almost complete. I'm waiting for a permit from the state. There's one pole that's on the end of the driveway from the highway department. I need a permit for them to climb that pole and to make an attachment to it. Once we have that permit, we can attach that, and then we can start working on building-to-building connections. That will provide us with internet connections, and hopefully that will save per building. Right now we're paying a modem for the connection that once that WAN is set up, we'll be able to eliminate on a monthly basis on all of our buildings. So that would be a substantial savings for us all the way around. But it's one of those things where you have to really put in a lot of work in the beginning in order to see the fruits of your labor. Historic structure preservation, like we said, the gazebo's done. The fire station and Old Center Fire Station are being completed. Organize and implement the ADA plan. The grants for implementation, we got the grants and they're working on it now. They've come up with a project list and prioritized it, so that is something that they've done. The Public Works Consolidation Plan is something that we need to talk about. But in that consolidation was the building maintenance plan, which with the ARPA funds, it's in process now, we're working on. The pavement management plan, there's been no progress, but we are going to be working on that. And then the trash contract. Evaluate a town planner or engineer position. Financially, we just couldn't even look at that for fiscal year 25, so I put that on the back burner. Improving communications with the school board. I've said that we've had some progress with that. Our budget process. We are working on ongoing communications regarding new software. I actually talked with somebody from the Collins Institute. I was told that we had software back in, I want to say 2016, 2017 from a previous select board. I was told that we had software with that. After talking with the Collins Institute, they offered, once we finished with that grant, the grant was just for them to get us up and running, and then we would have to pick up the software costs. We never picked up the software costs. That's why we never got the software. So software did not come as part of the grant. We need some more simple improvements to cash transactions within town. And I think we also are focusing on, and I've worked with Eric about this, to be funding positions that are sustainable within our budget rather than ARPA funds. And that's something that we've been working on as well. I'm going to give Eric a little kudos on this last one. The ASME negotiations are complete. We have done the negotiations that we wanted to, and we have many, many grants that are in process. I have Community One Stop, Share Streets and Spaces, Mass Trails, that's 160,140. Green Communities for fiscal year 24 is 199,950. Community Compact, 173,384. MIAA, we got over 7,000 for that, for employee programs and that kind of stuff. EMPG, which is a state grant for water safety gear, that was $2,900. The DFS grant with the firefighter safety gear for fiscal year 24, that was $11,503. Police accreditation federal grant, that was $106,515. Neshoba Valley Community Health had airway safety grant for $9,000. The VFA grant for $2,500. The ADA improvement grant for $110,000. The RDP Mass Department grant for $10,000. The Greenville Bridge has a $500,000 grant with that. Library incentive for fiscal year 24 was $27,802. TASA lease agreement, we still need to work that out. Squanicook conservation restriction is something we need to work out. And we're also still working on the MARC project. I will say that we just got approved the UPWP. This is a grant that I personally have been pushing since, I want to say, a year and a half ago. This is going to allow us to have the Proctor Road down to Edward Street. Is that right? Is it Edwards?
Coming this way?
Coming
Yep.
towards the harbor. So it's from
Edwards
Proctor Road to
to
Edwards corridor. They're going to engineer it. They're going to do a study for it, and they're going to come up with options to improve that roadway in that particular area. And once we get that engineering, then we will be able to apply for a DOT to get that on the TIPS list, so that the state would approve that highway for us. And that's something that I know
Needs
that
to
a
be
lot. It needs to be done. A lot of these things, especially when you're dealing with a state road, and then that intersection at Proctor is not only Townsend, but it's also 2 other towns involved in that corner. So that's why we're having such problems getting that done. But we just got the approval in for that. And we also have a digital equity grant that looks like we may be getting it. We haven't gotten approval yet, but I've been asked several more questions. That would be able to get digital, to get broadband to areas that do not have broadband right now in town, which I think is huge. So to answer your question, or actually to dovetail into what you said, Eric, we're looking at over $1.3 million that we got in grants for fiscal year 24 going into fiscal year 25 for the projects that we do. That has a lot to do with not only the police and fire chiefs, because they're the ones that put in for the grant. I, again, want to dovetail into what Eric said. Erin's doing a great job as far as the things that she is doing in there. The land use coordinator, anybody that has anything to do with these grants, I appreciate your help. This is how Townsend moves forward. This is how we are able to fund some of the things that we don't normally have the money for. So I appreciate it. Did I miss anything, Eric?
I don't think so. That was very comprehensive.
All right. Well, I wanted to get that out because we hear of all the things that, you know, we don't do this and we don't do that. And I want to get it out to the public that we are working very hard on the things that we're working on. And I know I'm long-winded and I apologize, but this is something that we need to do. So what I'll do is I'll compile all of this together and I'll pass it out to you guys so that we can move forward with it.
Perfect.
Any comments, Teresa? No?
No, I have no comments.
Okay. Joe?
None.
All right. Sorry to be so long-winded.
I'll forgive you.
4.5, letter of support for pedestrian walk bridge. Did you guys get a chance to take a look at that?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys okay with me signing that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the letter of support for the walk bridge grant for Route 13.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton, yes. So I'll get that right over to Aaron. I can sign that tonight, okay? 4.4, submit and discuss, nope. I didn't check any of these off. I'm going down the list.
Yeah, 4.5 now.
We're on 4.6, I believe, right?
Yeah, 4.6, creation of town administrator search committee.
All right.
All right, so Eric, I'm gonna need some help on how we are gonna, what direction we're gonna go in all this. I wanted to give you my thoughts in regards to, excuse me, how to move forward. I have, we had received two late, well, not really late, but two last minute. Did you guys get those?
Who are they?
Veronica Kell and Todd Melanson.
I didn't get Veronica.
Did you get those, Teresa?
I did not get.
Yeah, I saw them.
I did not print them. Okay.
So what? First off, I was very excited to have this many people. The last time we didn't have a lot, so the selectmen had to jump into positions. My thought is to appoint or have instead of having the selectmen being involved in it, I would rather let the townspeople be involved in it, and then we're going to see it anyway. We're going to be able to sift through. Are you okay with that, Teresa?
No, actually, I'm not. I had put my paperwork in to volunteer for that early. And we've had, on the previous selection committees, we always had a selectman. At least prior to that I know of, we had a selectman. So I don't know why I wouldn't be considered this time.
Put my name in also. But I think, my opinion, Chaz.
I didn't see your name, Joe. When did yours put in?
Mine's been in, let's just see. We'll tell you.
It's in the packet.
All right, mine was on May 6th. And let's see when you put yours in. Mine was on May 6th. And yours was on May 8th.
Okay.
So you put yours in 2 days after I did.
I thought mine had been in before, but because I didn't see when I had put it in, I was told none of the selectmen had. So
Well,
they were
that's not
mistaken.
that would be an untrue statement because I have it dated and stamped.
Yeah, I believe you. I don't have them in front of me, but I'm not saying it. I believe you. I'm just saying what I was told. I didn't know you had put yours in. But anyways, I would still like to be a member.
Yeah, my opinion, I think we take and we stay right out of it as the board. It's going to come in front of us. We got so many good names here. We got 7, 8 names. Pick a group, let them handle it, bring it to us, so nobody can come back and say Teresa or me or you are involved. I think it'd just be cleaner and better.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you or I or Chaz were involved. That has happened in the past. I also think we bring value, whether it's you, whether it's I, whatever, we bring value to the selection committee.
I think leave the board.
I respect that, Teresa. I'm just saying that's what I thought. But if you want to be part of the pool, I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah, I definitely do want to be a part of it.
Okay.
Well,
I just don't want. I don't want people to think that it's been communicated to me that people think that I'm against you, Teresa, and I don't want that impression. I'm not against you. I'm not against anybody. All right. So
I apologize that if that's the impression that I'm spreading, because that is certainly not what I'm trying to say. But this isn't something that I truly, feel like I'd like to be involved in, and I hope
Yeah.
you will support that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. So we can have all of the individuals here. How do we want to do this as far as choosing? We can do, I think how we did before was, there's 5 positions. And we ranked them in order of first choice and second choice for each one that we felt would be on the board. And we can do it however you guys want.
My one question was, like, how is the committee going to receive the application? Are they going to be didacted and the names changed out as candidate 1, candidate 2, or are they just, is the name, address, location also part of what they receive, and then they just name them, name 1 and name 2, or candidate 1, candidate 2? I think there's some real benefit if we just leave out names, address, phone numbers, emails, and just send to the committee the resumes with like I said, candidate 1, candidate 2, so on and so forth.
Well, we need to establish the committee, and we'll let the committee decide what they want, how they want to do that.
Okay.
That's what I think would be fair. I mean, that's what we did
It's not
last
up
time.
to us to make that decision.
Yeah.
We just got to pick the committee.
Yeah. I collected all of the resumes, and I have them saved as candidate 1, candidate 2, candidate 3. There's 11, I think, candidates I have right now.
Okay.
And,
per your request, I looked at 1 or 2, I think 2 at the most, prior to you saying anything, and then I haven't looked at any since then. So
yeah. So, I mean, my thought was how we did it last time was the committee was formed. We picked the committee, and then the committee met, and they decided all of the particulars.
okay.
I put in the town administrator search committee with the mission and objectives and all of that. Gave it to the selection committee, and then the selection committee decided what they wanted to do.
Okay. So how robust do we want the committee to be this time?
So if she wants to be on it, I want to be on it. How are we going to do that? We can't have 2 of us on it. That's why I think instead of pick and choose one or the other, we'll stay out of it.
Well, if there's 2 on there, you just have to post for it. You have to post it. And then it would have to be a joint meeting, right, Eric?
Yes, if 2 members of the Board of Selectmen were on the search committee, they'd have to post for it. That does get a little tricky.
Yeah.
Because the whole reason to create a search committee is because individuals that are before the search committee are not considered finalists, and that means the fact that they applied is not a public record. It's not something that gets revealed. That doesn't go out to the news. It's not, they remain confidential if they're not finalists. Once they're before the Board of Selectmen, they becomes a public record.
Right.
And so we'd have to ask Adam as to whether or not, if 2 members of the board were on the search committee, if that would mean that these people would have to be considered finalists. I don't know one way or the other.
Let me ask you, Eric, if it would be cleaner and better for the town and the board. I know in years past, we didn't have names, so we had to put a select person on the committee. Because
I just know the last one, we didn't have enough people. We didn't have enough people that applied in the time frame that we had it, because we only did 10 days. We had enough.
So if we have enough names here, I wouldn't have any issue with just the Board of Selectmen stay out of it and let these 7 or 8 people pick 7, I think, and let them just put the thing together and then come in front of all 3 of us and be better. That way we won't have no controversy.
I would have an issue with that.
Yes, there's two water
And
commissioners.
we can't
in there.
do, yeah,
They can't, yeah,
they
we
can't, so
have-
we'd have to pick, you know. I mean, that's my opinion, we should pick what we got, keep the select board right out of it. Make it cleaner, better, so when they come in front of us, no one person has, me, you, or Teresa has a advantage of seeing her done. We're shooting right from the hip on all of them, and we're better, that's what I'd like to see.
Well, I know that I had a conversation earlier today with one of the volunteers,
And who?
and it was Kelly, and she is on another board that this may be, there may be some conflict of interest between those two boards, and because we have enough people, she wouldn't have any issues of withdrawing her name. And I don't have a problem with that either.
I mean, we only can have one water person, so we have Todd and Jessica, so we pick one of them. All right, so we'd have one, we have Veronica, we have Wayne Miller, we have Laura Schifrin, either Jessica or Todd, Vicky Tidman, Dave Funnioli. I think that's 5 or 6 right there, that'd be,
How many can we pick, Eric? I think we had 5 before.
So because the search committee is appointed and created by the Board of Selectmen, you would just have to vote to set the search committee at X number of people if you wanted to add more people. I think
set
that
it at 5.
the existing one was 5, so I don't think you'd have to make a vote about the number if you want to do a 0.5, because the pre-existing search committee was created with 5. But if you wanted to say have 7, you can say take a vote to make 7 people and then appoint 7 people. I think it's totally within the purview of the board to set that number.
I think a 5-person board worked out last time, right? Because I was sitting in on that. So we got Veronica came in. We have Wayne Miller came in. Laura Schifrin. We'll just put them all down. Jessica Funnioli. Yeah. We have my name take out. Vicky Tidman. Dave Funnioli. And Todd.
Yeah.
So how many you got?
So we can have 7 individuals. We'd have to pick between Todd and Jessica and you and Teresa.
Or just leave me and Teresa right out of it.
I do not want to be left out. If you're okay with being left out, Joe, that's fine. But I do not want to be left out.
What do you want to do?
I would express my opinion. I think it's a cleaner, better look that we stay out of it. Because
But if I take everybody out, that leaves 6 people.
we just pick 5. We just pick
need
5.
an odd number.
Just go to a board of 5. So who do you have? So we'd have to pick between Jessica or Todd. You got Wayne, Laurie, Vicky, and Dave, and pick one of those 2, right? I give a board of 5. And I think that's the right thing to do.
And I once again, I disagree. And I do want to be a member of that board. And I actually think as opposed for having a negative effect, I think it does say that we have a selectman in there. It does say something.
Um,
Two, 6, 5 people. Better, easier, cleaner. You're the ultimate decision. You're the chair. You know where she stands. You know where I stand. I think a 5-committee search committee is a good number. It just keeps us out of the mess.
So if we have 5 individuals that are not selectmen, and they are not they're not on another board together. So that would be Veronica, Wayne, Lori, Vicky, and Dave. Those are 5 people that
And
are.
I think that's a good rounded group. So I would make a motion that we have a 5-person committee, first of all.
Any second? I'll second that. All those in favor?
Teresa Morse, no.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. I really didn't want to have to get it down like this, but I can't make a motion.
I'll make a motion that, well, we're going to decide Todd or Jess. So I'll say first make a motion Veronica, Wayne, Laurie Schiffman, Vicky Tidman, Dave Funnioli.
That's 5 people.
That's my motion.
And I'll second that. All those in favor?
Teresa Morse, no.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. So
There's
Sabrina,
our
if you
committee.
could please notify those 5 individuals. And
Madam, Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
May I make and I ask you if somebody isn't able to fill their position, that I can be the substitute?
I don't have a problem with that. Do you have a problem with that, Joe?
Not at all.
So could you make a motion in that effect, please?
Make a motion if one of the 5 we've appointed can't do it, we would use Teresa as
No,
the alternate.
I'll second that.
But that would be just not if someone doesn't make a meeting, just if they're not going to be part of it. Right?
Yes, an alternate, yes. All right. All those in favor?
Teresa Morse, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. What's that? All right. 4.7, discuss additional funds for the senior center. Eric, do you know what positions they're looking for that are for these phones?
I know we got the request in. I believe Sabrina might have it. I don't know off the top of my head who the people are.
What positions are those phones for?
I think one of them might be Greg as the assistant. But I'm not sure who the second person is.
So while she's looking that up, and the reason why I
That's my Janet.
position, like what is their position?
Director.
If we, well, I had asked Guardian what it would cost to add 2 phone lines. And then I thought we would probably need to have an extra one, so I asked what it would be for 4, if we had 4 additional telephones. With 4 additional telephones would be an additional $90 a month, which works out to be $1,080 a year. So do we want to incur more costs with this? And internally, can't they adjust their telephones to the individuals that they have? I mean, how many, is this necessary for us to get 2 more phones with them?
I mean, I think it's probably worth, now that we know the cost, and that's something that we didn't have when Elise made the request. Maybe we can put it off to the June meeting and I'll have a conversation with her about whether or not it's just a more cost-effective way to handle the resources. Although I think Sabrina has something to say.
Well,
I believe Janet is the volunteer coordinator.
so my opinion, Mr. Chair, right now, I think we are in the middle of tug of war of money. And I think any additional spending right now, I think we should just try to hold off until we can maybe get past what we're going to do on June 4th, 11th.
It's kind of my.
I think if we can just get by June 11th and we know where we are, because, people are already saying we got to tighten our belts and we're going to put on more phones, another $1,000 worth of phone lines. Not that they don't need them, they probably need them, but if they've gone this long, can we just postpone this until we see what goes on with our budget? Because if we got to make cuts, I'd rather not spend $1,100 adding phones and cut somebody's hours.
So my thoughts on this, Eric, is that I would like them to give to make an assessment on who has phones right now, and yes, the assistant should have their own phone. I agree. Volunteer coordinator, I'm sure, does a lot of work that they need a phone as well. But is there an extemporaneous line somewhere that that we're paying for that they may not need? It could be in one of the function rooms, because I've seen telephones just in the function room or whatever. Do they really need a phone in that function room? And can they use that extension? That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I'll definitely talk to Elise about it.
All right.
In the event that again, I agree with Joe. If I don't want to add something if we have extra ones there that we don't know of. And is there really a need for it? For instance, do they need 2 phones in the kitchen? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know. So
I don't know where the phones are there, but I think before we add any more debt to our monthly debt, I would really feel much better to find out where we stand with the override, the budget, because I don't want to add something to say we're going to cut it anyway.
Yeah.
A fair statement, Eric?
No, I completely understand that. And like I said, I think it makes sense to talk to Elise and now that there's a definite cost, to make sure that they're allocating their current resources appropriately.
All right. Good.
Teresa, you have anything to add?
No, I'm all set.
4.8 is the Markham contract. That's all you, Eric.
So we sat down with Markham and discussed kind of a recap of our last year. I'm sorry, Katie Kazanjian and I sat down with the representatives from Markham to discuss a recap of our last year and an evaluation of the services that we need going forward. So we had currently budgeted $48,000 for a Markham contract for next year. That was under the anticipation that Markham would continue to provide the same services that they had provided in FY24 into FY25. Based on our discussions with Markham, we negotiated uh, a, a proposed contract that actually comes in at $35,000 is the anticipated cost. It could actually come in less um, for FY25. However, it does come with some caveats. Number one, and the kind of most important caveat is uh, it comes with a scope of work that involves increasing um, the scope of work on the assistant accountant in town. Um, so these are things that Katie has been gradually taking on over this year and is now capable of handling on her own without Markham's help. And so rather than continue to pay Markham to do them, we thought it made more sense to change the scope of work to put those on Katie's desk. So the $35,000 is contingent on that increased scope of work for the assistant account. So basically, Markham's going to be doing a little bit less than they did for us last year, and Katie's going to be picking up the slack on that based on, quite frankly, her, she's been accelerating her learning in the accountant field and is basically able to handle a lot more than we had originally contemplated her being able to handle at this time period.
So are we complete that we're going to take the decrease from Markham to add it to her? And
so we have an executive session to discuss that
okay,
at 6.1.
all right.
Evening.
Teresa,
I don't want anybody to be confused. This Markham contract is lowered because the scope of work for the town is being increased. So we're taking on more work than paying Markham less. It allows for the town accountant to have a little bit more control over the hours that Markham is billing to us. And the town administrator has a kind of oversight over making sure that they're staying within the kind of the scope of their anticipated hours.
So realistically, in the long run, this will end up saving us money if she can take over.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's projected if they bill out the full $35,000. My projection would be we just about break even in FY25, and then we'd start saving money in FY26.
Okay.
Well, we have, just for full transparency, we had worked this out for that we would transition Katie for 3 years, wasn't it, Eric?
Yes. The goal was to transition Katie over the course of 3 years and gradually increase the scope. And the reality is that, Markham had been, when we originally envisioned this contract, we had a Markham accountant who was in-house once a week. Shortly after we kind of set this system up, that accountant then left the firm, and we had a kind of a Zoom relationship with an accountant. So Katie's been having to deal with a lot of remote help as opposed to in-person help. I think that was a little bit frustrating because it's not the same. I apologize. I'm doing it right now. It's just not the same over Zoom as it is in person. So we talked with Markham about reinstituting some in-person time, but also one of the realities is that Katie, by necessity, was taking on more and more as the year went on, and is now more than capable of handling functions that we really didn't anticipate her being able to handle for another year or two. So it's good for the town because that means we have a person who's here all the time who's handling this stuff, and it allows us to reduce our scope with Markham. So I think it's a win for us because that means we have that expertise sitting in the department as opposed to over Zoom or on a phone call away.
And I see some of the reports that she has done and come out with. They're really in depth. They're really good. I think she's doing a tremendous job. Especially, I think she's, like you said, Eric, I think she's a little further ahead than what we really anticipated. And if we can get that department self-sufficient like it used to be, it'd be better for us.
I am very impressed with her work because Eric and I, especially during this budget cycle, have been asking her for reports and she's been right on the game, getting that information out to us as quickly as possible. She never ceases to amaze me because the work that she does and the quality of it. But I also like the fact that there are a lot of finer details on certain things that she will not. She's not afraid to push back to get the proper information to her so that she can process whatever she needs to process, and she won't process until she gets
Gets it, and that's what we need.
And she's been very good about that.
Yeah.
And I want to say this kind of out loud. I think a lot of the things that have been happening within the accountant's office that Katie's been responsible for are things that have been really kind of invisible to the Board of Selectmen because they're problems that you never see.
Yeah.
They're problems that don't happen because Katie catches them before they become problems. And that's really kind of the most important point. She's keeping a much tighter leash on the departments and making sure their budgets are staying in line. So we're not going to be seeing 15 or 16 municipal relief transfers at the end of the year. I think we're looking at 4. She's making sure that the departments that people are getting in the proper documentation so that our audits are coming out better than they were before because she's got the backup already on file before she writes the checks, which is what you're supposed to do. But it's I think the departments are reacting appropriately to the heightened level of scrutiny that she's giving them. And they're starting to do things the right way, which means at the end of the year, we're no longer scrambling, we're looking at money. We are in a situation where there's only a couple of accounts we have to deal with. And it's going to be very short. It's going to be, really, really smooth sailing on the end of the year transition, as opposed to the last couple of years when it was much more difficult.
And no surprises like we had for the past couple of years.
Right, right. And that there's something to be said about problems that you don't see and surprises that you don't get.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm good.
So, but that again, I did want to explain why this is only a $35,000 contract when we had budgeted it for 48. And the reason is because of a change of scope of work since the time we originally set the budget. The reduced Markham scope and increased the assistant accountant scope.
All right, I'm good.
Any questions, Teresa?
No, I'm all set.
Okay. You all set?
I'm good.
Do we need to vote on that, Eric?
Yes, a motion to
I'll allow you to sign the contract.
I think actually it has the signatures for the board, so to approve the contract, and then you can use your stamps or sign it.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the Markham contract for fiscal year 25.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Teresa A. Marsh, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. 4.9, discuss and vote on a 1-year extension to Shaw's trash and recycling contract for fiscal year 25. You want to take a stab at this, Eric? This is a revision that we got in that corrected the title page to it. We just got that in one yesterday.
Because after town meeting, I know Carla is on the Zoom, but I'll do my best to explain kind of what happened, which is after town meeting and the kind of the discussions around the trash contract surrounding town meeting. The Board of Health had further discussions with Shaw's about both a new contract, but also the possibility of an extension. And in an effort to kind of give, I think, everybody more time to look at and discuss a new longer-term contract, Shaw's approached the town with a proposal that would extend the current contract by 1 year for $825,000, which is the amount that the Board of Selectmen and the town meeting had voted to approve for trash for FY25 in the budget that was voted on at the town meeting. So it doesn't change any of the parameters of the pre-existing contract. So there's not a separate charge for tonnage. We're going basically just another year under the last contract at $825,000 for that year. The goal would be to give the Board of Health, Shaw's, a full year to come up with a better contract extension and maybe to explain it better to town meeting about what would be the next steps, if that makes sense. This is actually, in my opinion, a kind of a relatively simple vote. This is what we budgeted, $825,000. It's so it wouldn't be an increase in trash year over what we budgeted. And it allows us just more time to sort out the trash situation with Shaw's over the next year. Just to
Eric, I have
answer,
a question.
sure.
Go ahead.
So we have this a year extension, and if during the year the Board of Health works with yours and they would like to again consider longer than a 3-year extension, because that was already voted down on town floor, can it be brought up again?
Yes.
Okay.
It could be brought up at a subsequent town meeting, a request for another 5-year contract. There are other ways to do that as well. In other words, you could have a 3-year contract with 2 1-year extensions, and
Right.
talk to town council, and town council seems to believe that if those extensions were totally within the purview of the town and had no penalty clauses, that would still be compliant with a 3-year contract rule, and wouldn't need
Right.
town meeting vote.
And that was a question I got from a lot of the citizens. Why aren't we doing 3-year with an additional year and year extension instead of a 5-year? Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
my understanding was the reason why they were looking for 5 was to try to amortize the cost of toters over 5 years. If there were 2 1-year extensions that were totally at the town's, like we could decide or not decide to do it, it wouldn't help them amortize the toters. They'd have to put the cost of the toters within those first 3 years. Otherwise, we could just get out from underneath the cost of the toters by canceling the last 2 years of the contract. So it wouldn't really spread that cost over 5 years. It would still be 3 years. That's something I think that if I think there could be some creative discussions with the Board of Health and Shaw's to try and figure out a way to get the toters and figure out a way to get them over a longer period of time.
Right. And just so I have it on the record, personally, I would like to know how many people actually need toters that are compatible with Shaw's. I do not have a sense when I drive down on trash day that everybody needs new toters. I think that's personally, this is just my personal opinion, just making more waste in the town, because now we have the toters we bought that are usable by Shaw's and then having to get additional ones. So I'd like the Board of Health, and I will talk to them directly on that, to consider why the entire town would pay for new toters.
Well, I think it's important to remember that because you only get 1 toter per week, and we're paying for tonnage, we don't want people to be able to purchase their own and just stick them out at the street and have Shaw's pick them up. They'll only be picking up the ones that are chipped, that are marked as the ones from the town. Otherwise, people could just line up 5 or 6 and then kind of overburden the trash system. So I think that's the reason, is because in the next contract we are paying by tonnage, and so everybody only gets 1. I understand what you're saying, which is there may be some that may be compatible, but I think that would be a difficult, without somebody going out to every house and figuring out whether that toter is compatible and figuring out some way to market in such a way as to note that it's this one for this house, I think that's just more trouble than just saying, yeah, we're just buying toters, everybody gets a toter. And I've never seen one of these pick up your own trucks where they allow people to use their own trash cans. They're always ones that are provided by the municipality or the trash company.
Okay, thank you for that information.
Sure.
I guess, first of all, Mr. Chair, the proposal that printed out, it does say proposal municipal solid waste and recyclable material collection and disposable with toters.
That's been changed.
That is not with toters, correct? I
Correct.
just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
Second of all, are we going to be locked in with this $825,000? We still have to find out what the override's going to do. Because if the override doesn't pass and we have to come up with the school budget money, we're going to have to cut money somewhere. How are we going to, are we automatically still going to pay that, or are we going to change how we're doing this? That's my question I have here.
Well, that's the $64 million question, I would say. My thought is right now we have, we need it. I think the most important thing is that this contract needs to be negotiated properly, and it hasn't been. I would like to be able to see some involvement with either the town administrator or one of the board of selectmen in the negotiations, just so we're familiar with what's going on, so that there's no surprise to anybody. In order so that all voices are heard. Number one. Number two is this will keep us in our fiscal year budget as far as what has been voted with the town. So how we deal with it, it's within the budget, and we're balanced. That's how I see it. If we approve this,
Come June 11th or 15th or whenever we have another meeting,
we'll get that hurdle when we get there.
right? But we're not locked in. Is all I want to make sure is I'm not signing a contract that we can't cut this budget, or we can't say, all right, we're not going to pay as a town because we got to come up with $1.7 million. So are we going to cut the trash? All right, we sign a contract, then does that mean we'll find a way the residents have to pay per household? I just want to be upfront of what we're thinking here.
Yeah. So
I just
no, I'm sorry, Joe.
I just want to make sure that we're very clear that if we sign this, but I think, in my opinion, I haven't been enough involved to know enough about this contract that we should sign it. I think, like you said, excuse me, I think we have to have a little more talk about this. Somebody should be chair or town administrator should sit in on these negotiations so we know. But I just want to make it very clear that if we have to cut $1.7 million out of our budget because the override doesn't pass, that the first thing I'm going to vote out is going to be the $825,000 for trash, because we cannot decimate the entire town of Townsend, all the services, because the next thing, everybody be right up by, you know what, that they ain't got fire departments not enough, the police department, the highway, the roads aren't sanded, the roads aren't swept. I just, people need to know if we need to cut, and I want to make sure that this will be able to be put out there at a different way of doing it. If we cut it, 825, we're signing this contract, are we going to divide that by the amount of households? And that's what they're going to get billed every month or every, however we do it, to pay for the trash themselves. Your answer on that?
Yeah, so we've discussed at a prior meeting the possibility of charging a trash fee to cover the cost of the contract. Entering into the contract would not preclude charging a fee for trash, which would free up that $825,000 for something else. However, if the board wishes, we could vote to approve the contract subject to a review by town council that would indicate that the town could terminate the contract with no cost at any time. I can certainly check with Adam about that, if that's a concern.
Once again, I think I stated this at town meeting. I have never seen the contract other than that this just came to me. There's been no input from the Board of Health to any of us to sit with us prior to this. And as far as I'm concerned, I am not going to let the Board of Health put the Board of Selectmen's back to the wall without making sure we know everything about this contract.
Yeah,
Well,
and
this
just
is why
to be clear, and I don't mean to interrupt, but the what we are signing is not a new contract. It's just an
Right.
extension of the contract that was signed by the board several years ago. So that contract and all of its conditions this is just extending it for one more year at $825,000. This is not what we were discussing at town meeting, which is a whole new contract. This is just an extension of the prior contract that was already reviewed and signed by the Board of Selectmen. Just to make it clear, I don't want anybody to be confused by that.
Right, but this provides us an ability to have 12 months to work out a contract that
A real contract, but if we have to do this
Can I
by
finish?
charge,
this will allow us to be able to go past June 11th to find out what's happening with that and what we need to cut so that we can then make provisions within that new contract that we're negotiating within that time period to be more comparable in fiscal year 26. Is that what your question is?
yeah, so we'll be able to, if we have to cut this, but we keep the service going, but we have to bill the residents separately.
Yes.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Yes. So what we're agreeing on is to keep the contract exactly the way it is.
Yep.
And the town will be responsible for paying for it, but we are also, if we need to, we would be able to charge a fee. Yes.
Awesome.
But we would be the one paying Shaw's.
Yeah.
And we would be charging a fee to
The taxes.
Correct.
That's good. That
Correct,
protects
Eric?
us.
If we go that route.
Yep. I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm good with that.
So, all right. So I would like to be able to get in a way that either the town administrator or again one of the selectmen are part of those discussions. If we could do that, Eric, I would appreciate it.
We can send that request to the Board of Health to ask that they include either a member of their liaison or the town administrator in any negotiations with Shaw's.
I think the liaison would be the one, right?
So I just want to say that I'm willing to put forward if they're so willing. I also want to say that the Board of Health administrator is doing a fabulous job in trying to juggle all of this, and I want to thank her very much for all the work that she's doing too. I know that this is a precarious situation for all, but I just want to be able to make sure that we get through this and do the best for our residents. 5.0 ARPA projects. Do we have anything, Eric? I didn't see anything.
We have to make a vote on that?
Oh, do we need to vote on that?
Yes. You mean you don't have to, but yeah, the request would be to have a vote to approve the 1-year extension at $825,000 as described in the contract document.
And you're going to talk with town council to confirm if we had to get out of it.
Yeah. Okay. So then the motion would be to approve an extension with Shaw's for $825,000, subject to review by town council that the contract would be terminatable by the town with no cost.
So moved.
Second.
I have a concern with that motion, though. I mean, what if the council says that this contract you are not able to get out of it? I still want to go forward with this contract.
Well, they wouldn't stop us from coming back and having another discussion on June 4th.
Exactly.
So we could.
But if we put forward the vote as you do it, and the town council says no, this contract does not have an ability to release you from it without conditions, then where are we with this vote? If you put that in the vote,
I think we'd have to bring it back to the board to have another vote.
Right.
With the understanding that it is not terminated. can't remember. So if
So,
it's
but
the will
the
of the board to
the
just vote on
contract
the,
goes into, I'm sorry, Eric, the contract we're talking about is June 1st. We're not coming back as a board to June 6th. So what happens on June 5th if Adam says no?
I believe it's July 1st.
July.
July 1st. Okay, thank you.
That'll give us some time, Teresa, that if we need to go back and forth, it'll give us a month to be able to do that.
Gotcha. Okay.
So moved on Eric's
Yeah,
revision.
there's a motion on the floor and a revision. Any further discussion on it? All those in favor?
Teresa A. Morse, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. I go on to ARPA projects now.
Sorry, Chairman.
I didn't see anything in that. Eric, did you have anything?
No, I don't have any updates this meeting.
I do have. I did get off the phone with the Comcast, just so you both know. I talked with their attorney in regards to the to schedule. Accounting wants a more detailed invoice from them to know exactly what they're doing before the check gets cut, as we discussed earlier. But he is reworking a invoice with all the details, and he should have that either tomorrow or Friday, he told me. But we should be good with that, so that we can move forward with getting a date to schedule so that we can move Comcast downstairs. Town Administrator, updates and reports, 5.1.
Thank you. I've got a couple real quick. As the board had voted to appoint Ross Perry as the interim town administrator, there was in the SharePoint there is the contract. What would be Ross's new contract for his second run as interim town administrator. This is consistent with the kind of the vote that the board took. So I just wanted to make sure and get a vote from the board to enter into that contract with Ross.
So if I may, we had, we meaning Ross and Eric and I have had discussions in regards to having both Ross and Eric the first week in June. Eric's last day will be technically June 7th, right? And then Ross will be starting on the 3rd. We also looked at the balance that we have in the selectmen's salary line and what's in that contract as we had before is it will take out June. He'll do the 19 or the 20 hours a week for June, and then we'll start with, we'll be okay until July 1st because that'll be in the next fiscal year. I don't have any problems with that contract. Did you guys look at it?
I did, and see some of the updates I did, yep.
Yeah. Teresa, do you have any questions on that?
No, I do not.
Okay, the thing that I was most concerned about is his work with the energy aggregation for the town. And that outlines the difference when he does work for that. We needed to meet the same amount that we were paying him for that. And I think this lays it out pretty well. Because that's very important, and the reason why we need to make sure that the minute we do hire a new town administrator, we have to reinitiate that aggregation contract with him because we're going to be coming up on bidding very shortly. And that would be, you know, it could be as soon as the last of July until the end of the year. So I just want to make that very clear. And we're both hoping, both meaning Ross and myself, I had a discussion with him about that. It looks like we may be in a good position to negotiate a good price for the townspeople.
Good.
So
He's optimistic about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. I think we
So,
can.
yeah, so the municipal aggregation would be within his role as town administrator while he is town administrator. And the town would need, if the town wanted to engage him in something else after his town administrator contract has been terminated, that would be up to the board. But I think it would be wise to try to keep him on to help with the municipal aggregation. He's done a really good job.
Right.
So we would just be looking for a vote of the board to approve the contract with Ross for interim TA.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Teresa A. Moore, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes.
So the second thing that I wanted to discuss was the Unified Planning Work Program for fiscal year 2025. I think this is something that, Chaz, you may have alluded to earlier, but this is the UPWP. We requested the Route 119 corridor analysis from Edward Road to Proctor and Townsend Road. So they're preparing a draft document with associated budgets that will be put out for public review for that. And so I'm excited because we got selected, which is a big deal for that program. That corridor really needs, I think, to be reviewed and could use a lot of help traffic wise. And so the fact that we got selected for UPWP for FY25 when our previous attempts to get this corridor in a corridor study have not been successful, I think is I'm going to give all the credit to the land use department, Jess and the grant administrator, both the prior grant administrator and the current grant administrator, who kind of worked on this. This is going to be going on this summer. I'm sorry, I take that back. It's going to be starting at the end of this summer, and be going on for the following year, this corridor study. And so,
I also, Eric, want to give credit to Representative Scarsdale and Senator Cronin for letters of support for this. We, as the Board of Selectmen, put in a letter of support, and I know that MRPC said it was because of these letters of support brought our application right up to the top.
So I just, like I said, I think it's really exciting to have this corridor looked at, and hopefully they'll come back with proposals to deal with some of the traffic issues. And we know that Proctor Road, the challenge that intersection is, even though it's not in Townsend, the challenge it provides to Townsend residents is real. And the fact that it encompasses everything up to Edward Road, I think it'll look at the high school traffic. It'll look at kind of the uses along that corridor. It's just really exciting. So I wanted to let the board know that we were selected for that, and that was should be going on for the next year. So it's a really exciting approval. So that would be it for my town administrator updates, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Eric. 5.2 reports from board liaisons.
I have nothing.
I actually have a couple. I've been very active, as you guys know, with the water department, and with the water department, if you guys remember, we agreed to join in a lawsuit with them in regards to PFAS. Mm-hmm. There are 4 companies that now have settled with the PFAS lawsuit. There is these figures are not money that we're getting. We're getting a portion of this, probably a smaller portion of what I'm going to be announcing right now. But 3M Company did a settlement of 12.5 billion. DuPont, Chemours, and Corteva was 1.185 billion, and 750 million was for Tyco Fire Products. And German company BASF has settled for $316 million. These are all monies that go into an account that those who have joined the lawsuit will get a portion of it.
Big.
Yeah, this is the monies that will go in will go directly to the water department, and they will be able to use that. They're looking to put it in interest-bearing accounts so that they can keep. There's a lot of once we get the treatment plant up and running, there's a lot of costs involved in maintaining it and keeping it going. They're going to be flushing out the tanks that they have in there. There's chemicals that they need to buy. There's training involved with their staff. There's all sorts of things, and they'll be able to use the money to sustain that particular department, which is all the reason that we wanted to sign up for that to begin with. I've worked with the Board of Assessors and Town Properties. Those were meetings to move things forward. I did go to the Neshoba Boards of Health had a seminar last week. I went with our administrative assistant. There were 4 breakout groups. Sabrina went to 2, and I went to 2 different ones, and I think it was really really helpful. They touched upon a lot of different things. There's a lot of things that are involved with the Neshoba Boards of Health that we don't really get involved with. So I'm going to talk with our community services coordinator to see if we can start taking into consideration some of these. One of them was, I'll throw it out to you guys. It was called a village group, and the village group is a private, all residents. It's a volunteer, and people who need shoveling, people who might need their lawn mowed or shrubs cut or whatever. They take in the request, and they find out who wants to go out and do it, and they have people going out shoveling their driveway or shoveling their walk or whatever. It's a program that I'd like to be able to start up here. It's all done. It's not part of the Council on Aging, but they work with Council on Aging. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Joe, thank you for your work with the moving forward on the maintenance and assessments that you've been doing with the company. I appreciate that. That's going along well. We have Eric had already mentioned the land use coordinator, the land use office. It's just really nice to have that office fully staffed and up and running. They're very busy with a lot of the things that they're doing in there. We have MJTC and MRPC Sabrina submitted, so we've got those committees covered. Neshoba Valley Tech, I've been working with their media and IT department. They're going to be providing more video content for TCAM, which is something that is the educational portion lacking on. So we're in communications to getting that up and running, which I'm kind of excited about. As you saw, the Recreation Commission, they're moving forward with the gym that's out back. We're going to have equipment being delivered. I've got to talk with Highway. I'm going to ask if I can store it there. We need a space just to store the equipment when it comes. That's got to be out of the elements. Let's see. I actually had a nice chat with the tree ward. He's pretty busy, that guy.
Masuko?
Yeah, he's very nice. He's very happy with what's going on right now and what he's doing. He says that it's I have no complaints, and if you don't hear from me, we must be doing good. He said that's about right. We're also I'm looking forward for the Agricultural Commission or committee to start up. We did appoint a gentleman that's supposed to be getting some volunteer forms. I'm also with Small Town Collaborative, the Rural Towns Check-In. One's for the state, one's with Margaret Scarsdale, which is to improve the agriculture, a lot of the things that we do within the town, which is really moving forward. And I want to thank our representative for doing everything that she's doing for us in regards to that. And then tomorrow I have a meeting with the MART in regards to our shuttle transportation between here and Fitchburg. We need to find a way to encourage people. We've had all of these requests to have transportation provided, and we've had this transportation and the ridership is relatively low. So I don't really want to lose this. So we need to find a way to market it or some way to figure out how we're going to increase ridership to that. And then finally with the MBTA with transportation, the last meeting that we went through, it was a huge budget discussion. If we think our budget is something, that was quite the budget discussion. But they are looking for more public input in our neck of the woods, which is nice because they want to be able to not only help out the Boston community, but for us out here. And that's all I have. Joe, public safety?
Yeah, public safety, couple of things. Police department, had conversation with them. Things are going very well. A little bit of an update. They had their one person, the last hire is started the academy. So they're very excited about that. Once he gets that out of the academy, he'll have full staff by the sounds of it, which is good. He's working on the new vehicles. Hopefully they've had a backlog on them, but they think they may have a couple being able to come. So that will be good for him. Other than that, everything else in the department's been running really smooth. Everything is good. He's very happy. The camaraderie is really where it should be, and everyone's working with each other, and he's very happy. The open communication that's between the boards and the Board of Selectmen.
Good.
So that's huge on that part. The fire department, I've had conversations with them. Eric and I have been working on trying to finalize a union contract. Hopefully that will be able to come in front of the board and we can make some kind of decision. But everybody over there is, once again, everything is working very well. They're all working hard as a team. The paramedic service has really been busy, and I don't know if it's their very first, but I heard that they delivered a baby the other morning, so en route to the hospital, so they're very proud of that. So things are good. We've got a great group of paramedics and EMTs and everybody, so that part as well. The building department, I've had in-depth conversation with the building commissioner. He has a couple concerns, and I think, Chaz, I'm going to open this up to you. He had some questions about one of the departments that you're part of, and I told him I can't get involved in that, so I'd like to see if you could reach out to the building commissioner and see what his thoughts are and his concerns, because that's the department I believe is under your privy. And other than that, permits have been going very well. A lot of big things are going. The Sterilite project that they're involved in, some of the permits have already started to be issued. So he's very happy with the way things are running. And that's about all I got.
Okay. So do you want me to reach out to him?
Yes, if you could reach out to him, he would appreciate it. You can see what his thoughts are, because I didn't want to get into it because it's not what I'm a liaison to.
All right, I'll appreciate it, and I'll talk with him, and we'll work forward.
All right, that's all I got.
Okay. Announcements and communications.
I have a couple when you're done, Chaz.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the first one I want to mention is that Thursday, the Honor Society for the high school is having a Memorial Day breakfast. They are, as always, inviting all local veterans. They ask to show up in full uniform or at least military cap or representation of your service for that event. It is at doors open at 8:15 and is at 8:30. as I said, at the high school. And all local veterans are encouraged to come. And the second one I want to announce is I've been working with Margaret Scottsdale on an amendment to the HERO Act, which is we're looking to streamline the process in which the handicap plates are distributed in the state of Massachusetts. Unlike most states, our state is the only state relying on a second medical review instead of relying on the VA review process. And that secondary medical review process takes about 9 to 12 months of backlog on work that's basically already been done by the VA. So we're encouraging people. This is tomorrow, but the more state representatives that sign on, Margaret is the co-sponsor of it, but if we can have you reach out to others that you might know, or other people outside of the area that you might know in Massachusetts, or any DAV or VSO contacts in other areas of Massachusetts, especially this evening or early tomorrow, because that is coming up for vote tomorrow.
That's it?
That's it.
Thank you very much. I don't know what I did with it. There is I'm going to skip over. We can talk about the Governor's Economic Development Bond Bill, H4459, at a later date. Maybe we can move that to June 4th, please. And I do have a letter from Betty May that I want to read in regards to Memorial Day. Memorial Day will be observed in Townsend on Sunday, May 26th. Members of the Townsend VFW post number 6538 and its auxiliary, American Legion post number 199 and its auxiliary, and DAV chapter 122 will attend the 10 a.m. service at the Townsend Congregational Church as a body. 2 parades and a band concert will take place in the afternoon. All marching units will assemble at the VFW Park in West Townsend at 1 o'clock. Pastor Jeff Willett will offer the invocation at the memorial service to be held there at 1:30 before the veterans groups, accompanied by the Townsend Military Band, the Townsend Fire EMS Department, the Townsend Minutemen Company, members of the clergy, town officials, and numerous scout troops march east on Main Street to Canal Street. Flowers will be strewn on the water from the decorated boat during the memorial service at the Canal Street Bridge in honor of those who lost their lives at sea. Pastor David Juwabic will offer the prayer during the service at the bridge. Following the bridge service, all units will proceed to the Riverside Cemetery for a memorial service. Pastor Jubaik will give the invocation. The Townsend Military Band will play a hymn. Volleys will be fired by the American Legion post number 199 firing squad, and taps will be played. The parade will disband after leaving the cemetery to later reform at the Spalding Memorial School and Townsend Center. At approximately 2:35, the Townsend Minutemen Company will fire a salute at the Bicentennial Monument in front of the school before the marching units move down Turnpike Road and to Main Street Bridge. Those who lost their lives at sea will also be honored during the Main Street Bridge memorial service, with flowers being strewn upon the water from a decorated boat. Reverend Dr. Gregory Schmidt will offer the invocation at the bridge. Following the service at the bridge, the members will parade to Memorial Hall for a memorial service. Pastor Ernest Farrar will offer the invocation at Memorial Hall. The parade will then pass around the common and go to the Hillside Cemetery for a memorial service where Father Sean Mayer will offer the prayer. The Freemasons of the Grand of Massachusetts, who will join the parade at the school, will separate from the other marchers at the cemetery so they may conduct a special memorial service at the grave of Henry Price, the founder of Masonry in America. After leaving the cemetery, the parade will move down Highland Street to Brookline Street and into the Townsend Common. Father Mayer will give the invocation during the memorial service on the Common, which will be followed by the presentation by the Gettysburg Address by a Boy Scout and Flanders Field by a Girl Scout. The parade will disband after the memorial service at the Civil War Monument on the Common. Townsend's Memorial Day observances will continue as the Townsend Military Band plays a concert in the Common beginning approximately 15 minutes after the parade's conclusion. Patriotic music and songs of the various military branches will be performed before the Townsend Military Band concludes its Memorial Day concert at approximately 5 o'clock by playing the Star Spangled Banner. The Townsend Memorial Day observances will be held rain or shine. It is hoped that many area residents will come out and watch the ceremonies. All veterans and active military with or without uniform and or members of their families are encouraged to march with the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and Disabled American Veterans members and join them in honoring all deceased comrades. The Townsend Fire EMS Relief Association will offer hot dogs, hamburgers, sausages with peppers and onions, chips, cold soda, and bottled water for sale at the Common throughout Sunday afternoon, 26 May, beginning at 12 noon. So I am not going to be able to be in attendance. I have a niece that has a wedding the same day, and we've been waiting for this wedding for a very long time, so I am going to that wedding in Boston, but I've already let Betty and May know that I won't be there this year, but my thoughts and prayers will be with everybody. 5.4, next meeting, June 4th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Review and sign. I'll entertain a motion to review and sign payroll and bills payable warrants out of session.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Tuesday, March, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. And I'll entertain a motion, two motions. One, to enter into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel or to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel in regards to the assistant accountant. And also, I move to enter into executive session pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares, and he does. This is in regards to the police union overtime grievance.
So moved.
And to
Second.
adjourn from executive session.
And to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Second,
All those in favor?
Tuesday, March, yes.
Joe Shank, yes.
Chad Sexton Duranian, yes. Thank you, everybody, and have a safe holiday.